gonna start with the kale salad, and we just thought we would show you kale in case you're not familiar with kale. I brought a beautiful red kale. We didn't have this yesterday. There's none in the salad, but I just wanted you to see how beautiful that color is. If I was making a salad at home, I would probably pick up both and use both because it's just such a beautiful color. So you can see Sandra's just pulling the kale off the stalk there. When you're making a salad, you don't want to use that stalk. It's very difficult to digest, right?
Yes, there's a lot of chewing.
Yeah.
But if you chop it really, really finely, if you want to saute it, it's lovely, you know, but it does take a bit of work.
Yeah, so you would just pull it off the leaf. Alternatively, you can just fold the leaf in half and then just cut the center stem out.
Yeah, or I often do this.
Yeah.
I often just hack at it.
Right,
and
so
just,
then,
yeah. Depends on how firm it is. The fresher it is, the firmer it is. So it usually stands up quite nice to just doing that.
There you go.
Okay.
And then with the kale salad, you really want to finely shred it. So you don't want big chunks of it, I find, if it's too thick. And unlike a romaine lettuce, and if you've done the tour with me, you've heard me say this needs to be marinated. Right? Kale is not the best salad if it's just dressed right away and you go to eat it. So I just find when you marinate it, it just softens it, it makes it juicier. So the salad that we're gonna serve you, the kale salad, we've been marinating this, actually we marinated the kale last night. So we actually did this yesterday. And put the dressing in there, and then I really like to get my hands in the kale salad. You want to massage it. So when I put my dressing, my oil, my whatever I'm doing, I get in there and I actually am massaging the kale. Even when I do my kale chips, I tend to, add whatever my toppings are, my olive oil, my hemp, my nutritional yeast, and really massage it and make sure all the leaves are covered before I bake it. So that's the trick I find with a really nice kale salad. So that's been beautiful. It's been marinating all night. We've got it nice, smaller pieces. And you'll see when you taste it, it's just got a really lovely flavor.
Off
so
here.
it softens it.
There you go.
So we've also got, and Sandra, you might want to cut up some fennel there.
I shall.
So we've got.
Let me interrupt for just a minute. Just about how fine and how much you chop the kale. It's nice to chop it fine because it makes it easier for people to chew. But it also helps because people don't chew their food as much as they should. Right? We don't spend the time up here starting the digestion. And so the smaller it is, the easier it is for your body to get the vitamins and minerals out of it. So that's really important. There you go. I think that's all I wanted to say about that. No, that's great.
Oh, good.
And the other thing I like to do is, same with parsley, because parsley is a green vegetable, even though we just think of it as a garnish. But if I ended up with this much extra kale and I thought, oh, it's going to make too much salad, I'm going to be eating it for a week, I will chop this very fine, leave it on the back of my counter, and just sprinkle it on everything, just like parsley. I could put it in anything. You won't taste it, you won't know it's there, but I've got a little more green vegetable snuck into me. Okay.
Smoothies too. It's great. I throw it in my smoothie in the morning if I've got kale washed and chopped. Just blend it up in my Vitamix, right? That I love, or your blender, hopefully that you have.
So we're going to show you how to. I don't know if you're familiar with fennel, but this is what it looked like before they made it into tea. So the fennel bulb is like this. You chop off the fronds. Often you pull I've already cleaned this, but you pull off the outside bigger leaf or the bigger part of the bulb, and then there's quite a core. So I chop that out. Not to say you can't, you can eat it, it's nutritive and you can, and often when I roast these, I just chop them into pieces and throw them with coconut milk and throw them in the oven. So I'll keep them quite baked. They get soft and tender and lovely, and the sauce is rich, and that's all I do. I just stick it in there. When I don't have a vegetable, I go, oh, that worked. Great licorice flavor. Okay,
and kale is, again, the brassica family, right, is so important, really rich in those compounds, indole-3 carbanols and sulforaphanes that actually help the liver to detoxify. So, we all need extra help in the world we live in today. We're bombarded constantly from, the water we're drinking, the air we're breathing, the cosmetics we're using on our skin, our hair, shampoos, soaps, deodorants. I mean, our liver is having to detoxify all of these chemicals on a daily basis. So anything that's going to help the liver, help it, support it, and make it work better is something you should incorporate every day. So the brassica family, whether it be kale, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, all of those things. So we've got, so we've got the bowl. We might want to bring it over here because we've got some of the other ingredients that we're going to add. So we've got our hemp hearts or hemp seeds. You'll see them called both, which this is donated by Mums. This is her Dolores brand of hemp hearts. So they're creamier and they're not as nutty, she says. They're really nice and mild and
nice.
yeah, beautiful. And 2 tablespoons of the hemp will give you 11 grams of protein. So I will often sprinkle it in my salads, my green salads. My kids didn't even know they were in there, right? I would just put it in, put in the dressing, mix it up. It's really great addition to your oatmeal. You can throw it in a smoothie. You can make your milk with it, your hemp milk. Sometimes I just cut up an apple and sprinkle it with cinnamon and a couple of tablespoons of the hemp, and I just mix it all up, and so the hemp will stick to the apple pieces, and I just eat it like that, which is lovely. I don't know how else you use it.
No, that's
pretty good.
That's the highlights.
Because
I often mix it with flax. Actually, it makes an amazing chocolate sauce.
It does,
Because it's a really good source of fat, so a good source of omega-369 naturally occurring in it. So you blend it up with it, a little coconut, raw cacao, or and a little bit of sweetener, and it turns into this creamy, lovely chocolate dip. So you know, you can.
I've got Goji Berries here, so this is another one of the superfoods, really rich in vitamin C and beta carotene. These are really quite dry. Maybe we can pass those around so you can see. They're dried and they're quite hard and chewy on their own. I actually don't like them raw like that. I find them too difficult. So these I've soaked overnight. I just put them in a little bowl and I just covered them with water. Actually, I didn't soak them overnight on mine. I soaked them for an hour or so. You'll soak them all night. You can. I have soaked them overnight, and in the morning I will actually just throw the whole thing right in my smoothie. Like I'll make a goji berry smoothie. So the water that it's soaked in, the berries, they're nice and soft. I just throw them in the blender to make a smoothie with. These I've just drained, and they're kind of nice and soft now, and I'm going to put them in the kale salad. So the original, oh no, it did. I was thinking this had something else in
I
there,
thought we switched it.
Yeah, I think it might have actually. This recipe might have had pomegranates as well. And so we just switched it to goji berries, right? So
well, you want something for the color, and with each color, that's why they say eat, you know, all the foods of the rainbow, because they all have different nutrients. You know, so
and yeah, all those antioxidants, right, to combat the free radicals, and they're beautiful, and they give a nice tart sweetness. So we're gonna add those in here, and they look really pretty.
But I do know of people who snack on these. You know, they just have them in their bag and they just snack on them. And
yeah, like those, you can just try them like that, and then you'll taste them like this in the salad.
And you can see why we hydrate them. Because although they look like a raisin, they're not as plump and juicy as a raisin.
And then I've got half a cup of pecans. You can do walnuts, you can do almonds, you can do whatever you like. But I always like to. So you see, we're getting lots of protein in here, right? From the hemp, and we've got the pecans, even the vegetables, the kale. You know, it has protein as well. So often people don't think of vegetables as having protein, but a lot of vegetables have anywhere from 20 to 40% of their makeup of calories is actually protein. So we've got all of that in there right now. And like I said, we marinated the kale overnight, but I'll just mix up a little dressing to kind of top it off, and we'll toss it and let it sit for a bit. So we've got, Sandra, what have we got over here? Is this all measured out?
Yeah, you've got your olive oil and your...
so I use mason jars for everything. I have so many mason jars, right? Like I store a lot of my nuts and seeds in it, all of my herbs and spices. I use them to, if I'm doing a greens drink, sometimes I just put my water in here, add my greens, shake it up. I also use it for salad dressings.
And why glass?
Oh yeah, we don't want to be using plastic. I'm assuming most people know that at this point, right? We're trying to avoid the plastic that, you know, has those BPAs, which is a hormone disruptor. We really want to get the plastics out, and so glass is such a wonderful, and it doesn't add any taste, especially when you're storing things with oil, like a salad dressing, right? You don't want to be
same with your nuts and seeds. You know, that's another one I really like.
Any of those oil-based, you don't want to be leaching those petrochemicals that are in the plastic into the oil, right? So glass is perfect. So it's just some, we've got some olive oil, we've got some apple cider vinegar. Get those in here. So I just dump everything in, and if I was at home, I wouldn't even be measuring. We've got a little bit of dill here. So we've got some dill, just a little bit of pepper.
I think it's a half a teaspoon of maple syrup and a quarter teaspoon of your mustard.
And you don't need to be too picky with measuring out your ingredients, right? Like that, I never measure a salad dressing, ever. I just dump it, like I just kind of that.
Yeah, but that just comes with practice. So the more you do it, the more you know. And the more you realize, they used to have this rule that it was, you know, 2/3 oil to 1/3 vinegar. And whatever your citrus was, it could have been lemon juice or it could be a cider vinegar or whatever. I find that I less oil and more vinegar works for me now. I just need a bit more brightening and a little less sweet, but you get used to that. So just adding a bit more dressing just to brighten it up the
Yeah,
next
because
day.
I've already put dressing in here from last night. We've marinated it, but okay. There we go. And then we've got beautiful roasted beets. I just have to show you guys. So we're going to put roasted beets in here. Beets are so nourishing for the blood, right? You can see I've got the beautiful red and yellow beets in here, golden beets. Right? So they're beautiful. I mean, you can just eat those like that. These haven't even been peeled. They've just been scrubbed. It's a golden beet and a red beet. Right? So I'll just show you. These actually have the peels on them when we roasted them. We just basically scrub them, chop them, olive oil, and roasted, right? But you can also, and I'll give you those.
Have you ever seen the golden beets before?
I have one here.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Nice.
The first time I ever heard of them, I was at the St. Lawrence Market. I used to live downtown Toronto by the St. Lawrence Market. And they had these beautiful golden beets. They were stunning. And the Dalai Lama had just come in that day and picked them up, and that's what he wanted. So now whenever I see them, I think of the golden Dalai Lama. I think of the color of his robes, and I think of him, and I think they just make me happy every time I see them.
So you can also, oftentimes I'll just roast my beets. I just wrap them in parchment, or you can do foil. But if I'm doing foil, I like to put them in parchment because I don't want the aluminum on my food. So I just wrap this in parchment, and then once it cools down, I can just slip the skin right off, right? Yeah. Yeah, so that's so easy. Like, you just basically wrap them. Like, all I did was wash it, wrapped it, baked it, you know, for about, I put it on 400, 425, you know, for about 40, 45 minutes. And that's it. Like, the skin just peels right off, right? And then you just dice it and throw it in your salad.
Which I will do.
So we can do that. Here, I'll just try to get the rest of the skin off there for you. But it's nice. I find, you know, when it sits like that, it's so easy. It just slips right off. Your skin just slips right off.
And it slips off easier when it's cool.
Yeah.
So
yeah, don't do it when it's hot. How do you do it when it's hot?
Well, you know, you're rushing, and it's just so nice to be able to do that to the side. But
so I'm just going to wipe my hands off there. But yeah, it's such a beautiful color. And food is, you know, we eat with our eyes too, right? You like food to look good, right? So adding color in that.
Well, and especially in the winter when you find it's a little drabby and you're tired, it's nice, these beautiful root vegetables, you know, the squashes and the beets, and they're bright and beautiful.
Okay, so we've got our kale salad made. That's going to just sit there while we do the quinoa. So.